Hi everyone, Leanne from Cake and Eat It 3, and we are back after a little break. We've been busy renovating, so straight back into it. Now, the next video that we're doing today is about making full-time travel more affordable. So basically we get asked that a lot on the road. It's no secret that we're big free campers. Absolutely love it. Worth spending the money to get a self-contained rig. But starting at the top, okay, a checklist before you go. Okay, if you've done a lot of the work to your rig or bought a lot of the items that you're going to need for full-time travel before you go, you're obviously going to save a lot of money once you hit the road. So check out our checklist. It's on the blog, 12 months out. Basically preparing your tow vehicle, in our case Sexy Beast, the Hilux, and basically making sure that you've got all those extras that you know you're going to need to do. You don't want those expenses on the road. The second biggest one before you go, and it certainly is contained within our checklist, but is reduce debt, particularly bad debt. Bad debt meaning anything that's non-income producing. So if your house is going to be rented when you're away and it's going to provide income, obviously that's not a bad debt. It's providing an income. So we're talking about store cards, credit cards, we're talking about personal loans, we're talking about you get rid of everything you possibly can before you hit the road. You don't want that hanging over you once you're actually out there and enjoying your travel. A good budget. Now look, you see these online all the time. Lots of families put them up. Look, they are a great idea, particularly if they're a family of 4 and they put up one that's for a family of 4 that matches your family. But let me tell you, there's drinkers and non-drinkers, and that can be $150 a week difference to your budget. You know, there's fishermen and non-fishermen. There's so many different variables, smoking, non-smoking, you know, that will affect a budget. Now I know that they outline these, but pretty much if you think of what you eat when you're at home, you're going to eat when you're on the road. In fact, you're going to actually reduce that dramatically, because you've only got so much space to store your food. So you generally are in a much better position to monitor what you're cooking for that week, do menu plans. We prepare almost identical meals to what we would when we were home on the road, but we really take notice when you're buying fresh produce. You make sure that those first 3 meals incorporate that fresh produce so that you're eating it at its best and you're not wasting anything. Brett is crazy about waste, or there not being any, let me tell you. So we are very careful. So the buffers before you go, again, in the checklist. Make sure you've got a buffer before you go. So if something does go wrong with anything, with your car, with a house back home, storage back home, health, anything like that, you're not getting pulled up and basically told when you will stop and work. You know, we actually really enjoy working, hence the 2 weeks that we just did renovating. You know, we like being physical, we like a new challenge, we love learning new things. So look, we're happy to stop and work. We did set up our investments before leaving to make sure that we don't have to, but we love it. So, you know, there may be a time that you're going to stop and do work, but you want it to be when you choose to do it, not when shit hits the fan, the car engine's blown up and you've just used all of your savings to try and put a newer engine in. And God forbid that won't happen, but be prepared and have a buffer in place so that when you do hit the road, you're not all of a sudden having to jump back into a job in an area or a town that you don't necessarily want to be stuck in, because of breaking down or requiring money for some emergency. The vehicle that you choose to do your lap in, well, the whole rig really, but the vehicle that you choose to do your lap in will dramatically affect, and the amount of additions to that vehicle that you want to do will dramatically affect the cost of you getting on the road and being able to save money while on the road. A lot of the free camps now, you must be self-contained. by self-contained, there is so many variances on this, but basically meaning you don't need power, you store your own grey water and water. You basically don't need to leave any evidence of you having been where you are. So leave no trace, all that jazz. Be able to use solar, wind, generator. Don't rely on a generator. Basically, we do have a generator, but we basically have the generator in case of error somewhere else. So we try to be fully self-contained without the generator. It's the backup. If you get a couple of weeks of really bad weather and you've got to keep your batteries topped up, let me tell you, the cost of those batteries, what we have on board of both rigs, it's worthwhile because you want to make sure that you're topping those back up and keeping everything okay. So spend the money to get your rig right. Now, whether you take a caravan, camper trailer, tent, motorhome, doesn't matter what you do it in, okay? Get it right before you go and spend some time in it. Take trips away so you know that it's right. Okay, now there's 3 main expenses on the road. Let's get to the nuts and bolts of this. Okay, so the main 3 expenses that you're going to have on the road are your fuel. So dependent on how quickly you're going to be moving, you're going to be spending a lot of money on fuel. The slower that you move, the more fuel you save, therefore your money is going to go further. That's not rocket science. Especially if you can carry some additional food. We carry a couple of extra 20-litre fuel containers on top of our Hilux that basically make sure that we get the option of when we choose to be filling up the motorhome, which doesn't do as many Ks. We've got long-range fuel tanks. We've already been over on what we did to Sexy Beast in the last video, so check out the 4-wheel drive preparations in that one. But it is well worthwhile being able to carry just a bit of backup so that you can choose when you fill up. Okay, the accommodation that you use, this is a huge expense. So this is where free camping comes into it big time with the type of travel that we do. So with that self-contained setup being your accommodation, because you've taken it with you, the more free camping you can do, obviously that means that you're going to save a fortune. And by a fortune, I'm talking, you know, especially if you've got multiple kids and you're looking at the caravan parks and everything that have, you know, per child they're adding on. So I'll just do a shout out there to Talk TAWK, Travelling Australia with Kids, and their membership and the effort that they're going to build a database of caravan parks that are offering free accommodation for a couple of nights for kids. So check them out on Facebook and grab their membership. So affordable, so worth it. Now, because we free camp, that accommodation is dramatically cheaper for us. However, it's one of these 3 things. You're going to save in one of these areas. And the third and final one is food. Okay? Plan your menu planning as best you can. Carry emergency dry good meals so you're not eating out. You know, you're not travelling Australia to go and be eating at McDonald's or takeout joints, you know. This is a very, very expensive way to travel Australia, let me tell you. Now, there's nothing, whether we've got, you know, yeah, we're in the motorhome, but do you know what? We have a camper van in Europe and we have Sexy Beast, and we take the Weber, which does our outside cooking. We have a 2-burner cooker that's outside as well for when we duck away with her. And it doesn't matter what we're cooking on, we still eat really well and we're able to menu plan, get affordable meals, eat healthy, more to the point, because in our case it's full time, but still 12 months on the road, if you're doing a lot, you don't want to be you know, eating crap food, because you begin to feel that way too. So food is a big one. On a Weber, just quietly, you can roast, bake, you know, casserole, barbecue. You know, it really is these days an amazing difference from when we first started doing this 20 years ago, what you could do on a barbecue. So they're compact, they're affordable, and boy, does food taste good on a barbie. Okay, so that's the Australian outdoor way of cooking, isn't it, on the barbecue? But it'll save you a fortune. So we eat vegetables a minimum of 3 to 4 times a week. So we make sure that we do really have a balanced diet. It's a great educational opportunity to talk to your kids about. Also get them in the kitchen helping, you know, or maybe get them researching some camp food cooking ideas that you might like to do. I'm going to do one on cooking later. But some people, there's multiple groups online, Everything Caravan and Camping, and Caravan and Camping have amazing, they're Facebook groups. They have amazing wealth of knowledge amongst their members, in which, you know, they're constantly sharing amazing recipes. The Weber Addicts group, you know, there's so many ways to get some really good camping, camp cooking ideas that you will be so surprised what you can achieve, even though you're on the road. Okay, so they're the 3 that are going to save you money, or they're the 3 that are going to cost you a fortune if you get them wrong. So when we went across the Nullarbor with the food, we filled our Waco in the back of Sexy Beast full. Now this is going to just sound absolutely crazy, but my husband is crazy, so that's fine. The small Sistema containers that you can buy, the halfers, I think they're 500 ml size or whatever. If you put a bit of Glad wrap in one of those and you pack your meat, whatever meat that is, into the bottom of that, wrap it up, and then freeze them in that size, they actually stock perfectly into both your Caravan freezer or your Waco freezer in perfect fit. So we literally took across the Nullarbor the most fantastic meals, already ready, frozen, prepared. Their names, he'd even cut out their names from the top of the packaging and put it under the second layer so that you can actually read what you're pulling out for that night's meal. Eating healthy, saving a fortune when you're on the road, means you can take advantage by having that Waco or a better organised freezer, can take advantage of when you do get food specials. So really do keep that in mind. So look, it's a balancing act between those 3 things. So be self-contained, menu plan, and well, with regard to self-contained, because you save on accommodation, and watch your fuel. If you need to slow down the speed at which you're traveling, you will save a fortune in fuel. So it's all just a balancing act between those 3 things. If you absolutely smash your budget and do really well for, you know, 1 month, shout yourselves, go out to dinner. You know, we believe in putting money back into the town. So whether that's buying fuel, buying groceries, or your sightseeing expenses or whatever, if you've done really well with your budget and you're on a tight budget, shout yourselves and go out for dinner and support the local restaurants in the town that you're visiting. I mean, these are all, we are absolutely budget conscious. It doesn't matter what rig you're in, you really have to be, because you don't know when you're going to get a surprise. So these are just some of the ways in which we try and make full-time travel more affordable, and whether that's overseas or here, those 3 principles apply. Accommodation, get it self-contained, food, menu plan, and fuel, slow down if you need to save money. That will do really, really well. So I wish you all the very, very best. We've got a million other ideas which we try to remember to share in the videos that we do and on Facebook. You know, check us out. Leave a comment below on ways in which you think you can save money on the road or make full-time travel more affordable. Really, the cost savings that we have on the road compared to when we're at a house are huge. So let me tell you, it can be done. You can save money and you can still eat like kings and queens. And boy, can my family eat. So, happy travels, and we'll see you soon.